Hey YouTube, my name is Nick, and in today's video, I just want to talk about a little update in regards to my video where I talked about controlling my Nintendo Switch with my Game Boy Advance. And this is all thanks to DarkBowser64 who left a comment on that video. And so basically, what I'm going to show you today is how you can do this. Which if you give it a moment, you will see the GBA as Nintendo Gamecube controller app on my Game Boy Advance, but guess what's different? No flash cart. So how did I accomplish this? Well, that's what today's video will be all about. So I'm going to go over to my computer and tell you what files you need and the prerequisites to get this going. Okay, so here's what you need in order to use your Game Boy Advance as a controller on your Nintendo Switch, and basically copy the setup that I have where you do not need a flash cart in order to run the GBA As Controller app. So basically what you need is you either need a homebrewed Nintendo Wii with an SD card, or you need a Gamecube console that can run Swiss plus an SD card. So depending on what hardware you have, obviously what you have to do will vary slightly, but basically the instructions are practically the same. So basically, once you figured out which method you'd prefer to go with, depending on what you have, you want to navigate to the description of this video, and I'll put two links in there, linking these two things together, which you need. First of all, I'll link the GBA As Controller app, and to download it, you just click this yellow button here. And the other thing that you need is you need this GBA link cable ROM sender zip. So basically, to download it, this is the page for it. I'll link this page. Here's the releases tab. And then you'll see GBA Link Cable ROM Sender version 1.2. You click this and it will download. So once the two files download, save it somewhere where you can find it. And then what you have to do is you have to take out your SD card from your Wii and or your GameCube. So once you have these two files, the next step is you want to plug in your SD card. And first I'll start off with preparing the Wii method. So once you plug in your micro SD card, or your SD card, in this case because we're doing the Wii, navigate to its folder. You'll probably have a bunch of files here and folders depending on how much you've already used your homebrewed Nintendo Wii and depending on what you have on it. But basically, if you have a blank SD card like I do and you're starting from scratch, you just want to make a folder called Apps. And then what you want to do is you want to open the link cable zip file, and you want to extract the GBA ROM send underscore Wii dol file, and then you just want to make a new folder in the apps folder and call it GBA ROM sender or something along those lines. And then you just take this dol file, put it here, and it should copy really quick, and then you want to rename this to boot.dol. And then one last thing you have to do before you can continue is you have to make a folder here and call it GBA, just like this. And then take your GBA As Controller.gba file and paste it right into this directory. And then you are all set for that. So before you power on your Wii, what you want to do is you want to reinsert your SD card back into the console, and you also want to plug the Game Boy Advance to GameCube cable into the second GameCube controller port on your Wii. Which reminds me, I forgot to mention it, but you must have a backwards compatible Wii model, otherwise you will not be able to do this, obviously. So once you have your Wii powered on with your micro SD card inserted, basically what you want to do is you want to navigate to the Homebrew channel and then press start. And so once it loads, you'll probably see all the apps you previously installed if you had any. Otherwise, you'll be met with this blank box. And so if you have a bunch of apps already, you might have to scroll through some pages to find the GBA app, like the ROM Center. And so since this is the only one I have on my micro SD card, I'm just going to press A to load it. And you should see this text on the screen, which denotes that you did it properly. So again, make sure that your GBA is plugged into the second controller port of your Nintendo Wii. And now we can actually transfer the ROM. So to do this, you press A on your Wii remote. So it says waiting for GBA in port 2. So turn on your Game Boy Advance, and it should light up like this. And then you'll get the GBA As Controller app. So just to quickly go through the menus, one last thing I want to say is that if you ever need to reset the GBA As Controller app to change your button configuration or something because you want to play a different game, all you have to do is hold A, B, select, and start to reset the app so that you do not have to turn on your Wii again in order to send the file back over.